the air nailer has earned its keep, unlike him. Yeah. So, Saturday afternoon now, and we have completed the last beam, bolted and nailed in place with said air nailer. So, today's weather, still windy, but it's not raining. Well, odd shower, but nothing to write home about. So I'm now going to sort out what I've got left down here and slide them up on the roof possibly, just so I can hopefully, I don't think tomorrow's going to be usable, but I think the start of next week should be finer weather, if not colder, but I can deal with the cold, I don't care about that. But just low wind, mild days, that's all I bloody need, so I can whack this framework in. So I'm going to do that, see what I've got left. And I think, well, the tile batten's outside. I want to bring that in and dry it out on the floor here, just to stop it warping. So hopefully in the next sections you will see some progress, hopefully. Who knows? Either that or the sheet will blow off and there'll be a big hole up top. So it's a bit left-handed filming today. Got nice weather today, low wind, and I've injured my arm. You couldn't make shit up, could you? I've got this beam, that strap across there, just to pull this beam over because there's a little bit of a bow in it. So I'd got the timbers up for the far side, the long span, up there, and then these pieces over there, and I was on that timber just to put a couple more patches up on the roof. And I've got a couple of these beams propped up through the roof that I needed to pull through out the sheet to get them up here now that I'd got these cross pieces in. I was just pulling this last one across and I couldn't. I put my hand out and pull, and I had nothing left in my hand, no strength in my arm. Then I started getting a pain in my forearm, and I presume I just pulled the muscles, but it's sort of like the bits that go round the elbow, so it's sort of impeding me. I can't hardly lift anything up, pull it or twist it. I can still grab things, but... And then I got a phone call from Caroline this morning. My dad had fell over, so it was get the clothes on, get in the van and drive into town to try and get me dad up off the floor. And he'd left his key in the door, so we couldn't gain access. So I had to take the faceplate off the lock, managed to manipulate the key that he'd left on the inside out so I could get in. Luckily he's not too bad, just a bit shook up, but he's 97, so that knocked the stuffing out of him a little bit. So at the minute we're just doing easy light jobs. I'm just hoping it sort of repairs itself over the next couple of days. It doesn't hinder me. Sod's law. So yeah, we've got the old 2x4s measured at halfway. I do 2 these are 4/8 in length in meters, so it works out if you measure each way you get a dead space in the middle, which is where I put the chop saw down. So I do get 2.4 meters and 2.4 meters, not one is slightly under, although I do have about 4 inches to play with on the roof line. So I need 5 of these, so I've got to break into another one. But looking at my timber situation, I'm probably not going to have enough. I was half expecting it anyway, but just to do sort of like the bracing that goes in the trusses, I'm not going to have enough timber. I'm going to use the 3/2s that I bought to do the end gable end, because they're really only there just to hold that up, and then be a fixing for the front fascia that I put on it, which is going to be that twin wall. So I will have to have a trip up the wood yard again. I think I just found I got some more tile batten down here, so with that out the yard and what I've got left here, I should hopefully have enough tile batten, because that's gone up in price. That's now $4.90 a length, and I paid $3.29 last time. But the one I want, I think I can get for $3.90. But another company's charging £4.14 for a length of batten. But the actual big stuff's gone down in price. I looked the other week and it had gone down to £12. It's now £9.92 a length. So some timber has gone down. Sheet materials, no. And treated fencing materials have gone up, which is what he told me in November. So it seems to be a little bit of what's selling is still being charged more money for. So it's not a case of supply and demand. I think it's just greed. Well, I was thinking today would be a good progress day. The roof line is a little bit more than I was expecting. It's no biggie, but there is quite a gap there, even for me to fill in with an eaves piece. But well, we'll have to make it work. The timber, this one here is like a banana. Not really happy with using that one. It seems to be a bit of a weak bend as well. It's very floppy where that bend is, so I'm not happy. I think there's a knot running across it possibly. Certainly not what you'd expect a C24 timber. This one's nice and straight, but there's a great knot dropped out of the middle of it. Again, structurally, it's probably not going to make a lot of difference, but I'm not happy with it. Had I have seen it, I would have cut this one and then had one good half to use as an upright for the other side, but I've already cut the timbers, so I've got to deal with it. This one, not too bad. It's got a little bit of a curve that way, but nothing major. But that means I need some replacements really. Plus I haven't got enough timber to do all the internal bracing, so the bendy gandy ones were going to be internal bracing now, and I'll have to go and buy another. I'll get a 10 lengths. That should give me enough to do what I want to do here, and anything left over is always handy. Will come in for the other build or something else in between. And I feel absolutely crap today for some reason. My knees are playing up, my elbow and arm's still playing up. You get nice weather that I've been waiting what, a month for, and I really don't feel like doing it today. But there we are. Life's a bitch. Then you marry one. Don't tell the wife I said that though. Well, the good thing is the lumber yard is literally on my doorstep, just up the road from me, so it saves me a bit of time, and they're reasonably priced, although I can spend money here as quick as I can filling this truck up. Time to go home. So 10 lengths and 1 length 6x2, 108 pounds. Cheaper than it was. Well, it wasn't quite as productive as I hoped. I figured this was probably going to be 3 days, so we've just used a day up. I've got 10 lengths of that timber, so I've got that in place up here, ready for tomorrow to crack on. Got this first one clamped in temporarily. It still needs a little bit of fettling. But once I'm happy with that tomorrow, I can put a couple of braces on it and mark it off, cut it and fix it. That will take a little bit more time because there's more work involved in that first one, because there's going to be more like that one with the support work. Then I'm going to weigh up how I'm going to do it, whether I'm going to do a purlin on the top or just go with them free. I have to see how the day progresses. The other thing is actually sort of access up to this far end and being able to stand high enough to do it all, because there's not really a lot to stand on to work off. At the minute I've got this old off-cut sheet which is sort of like an 8 foot by 2.5, 3 foot, and then a few of these boards to stand on. So I'm hoping that we can, I've got the woods here, the fixings there, so there shouldn't be many more hold-ups. I just looked at the forecast, and Wednesday, Thursday could go either way, but at the minute we're okay for at least another day. So my prime objective is to get the frame up. If that's all I can achieve this week before the weather turns pants again, so be it. But in an ideal world, frame up, get the felt across and battened, and maybe get the roof sheets on this side. Because the problem is now I'm up this end and it's bigger. This tarpaulin's not wide enough to span the whole thing. So once that bit goes up, there's going to be a gap along here, which I can use something temporarily to, we'll figure it out, Well, bit of progress. We've finally got the first cut done for the next beam. Just got to true it up and clamp her in place. Sort out the supports. Well, if the perspective of the camera will show, that's sort of what it will look like when it's done. I've made a temporary frame up just to suspend all of the wood up in the air. Yeah, it took a bit longer than I was hoping today. I've got the two pieces in there and the upright to hold it. But I'm going to put another one in there, and then I've got to do me cross off over that way from the centre, bottom of the centre and up. And then I'm going to try and do this far in, which is the whole idea of having the beam there. You can't see it very well because it's sort of a mishmash of wood, but the big one there is running across and out. So I'm going to line that up a bit more precise tomorrow. And the support at the top there needs to be put on the other side so that the shorter 2.4s on the far side sit on that, and then the big 4.8 meter ones sit on top of those. So I crisscross them, mark them off, and then the weight of the long one is dropped onto the shorter one if it focuses. So that's it for today. We will commence more tomorrow, and now it's bear o'clock.